Well, it's Wednesday, and you all know what that means. If you probably know already, Just for Guy members, Taka Michinoku and Taichi once again did their annual show, TakaTaichiMania IV. This one, of course, features not only talent from Taka Michinoku's promotion Just Tap Out, but other talents from Stardom, from, of course, New Japan, or freelancers, or any promotion that are willing to show up. So it's a really fun match you definitely don't want to miss out. And then, of course, we move on with WWE Evolve. As you probably know, a special announcement, of course, was made by the Prime Minister Evolve. Apparently, this is huge news and you don't want to miss out. And not only that, we have, of course, Kendall Gray taking on Nikita Lyons, which is going to be a very interesting match, and plenty other things as well. And then finally, AEW Dynamite. As you know, we are on the road to Double or Nothing. As you probably can guess, a lot of things is going to take place. Samoa Joe takes his revenge on, of course, Death Rider member Claudio. As you know, Claudio has been ordered to take out Samoa Joe by John Moxley's orders. So that's going to be an interesting match, and plenty other things as well. But as always, we will cap up our episode with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are thrown out, who's booked, when matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK. Anywhere in the world, pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or nice comments in the description down below. Now, enough with the yapping. It's time to rock. So let's begin, of course, with TakaTaichiMania IV. Okay, TakaTaichiMania IV. Now, this is the much recent show they did. Now, for those who are new to this channel, if you don't know what this is a self-produced show by Taka Michinoku and Taichi. As you know, these two guys are real good friends. They've been friends since, of course, Suzuki-gun, or well, Kojima-gun, then Suzuki-gun, and now just four guys. So this is one of those two shows they do all the time. However, this is only, of course, Taka Michinoku mostly involves wrestlers from his promotion, Just Tap Out. We see, of course, Yoshi wrestlers involved. Not to mention, they bring in wrestlers from outside of the promotion, such as from New Japan, Stardom, or All Japan, wherever they're at, or possibly the freelancers themselves as well. It's a pretty good fun show. If you guys ever seen them, you should check it out. But this particular show is just a recent one they just put out in Cork and Hall. So let's begin with the first match. The first one, we got a guy named Ruma Tsukamoto and Thunder Masami. They take on, of course, Young Lion Daiki Nagai and, of course, Blue Justice Yuji Nagata. Now, I don't know about the opponents, of course, Tsukamoto and, of course, Masami, not that much. I'm going to presume that they're possibly from the GTO promotion, just to, just tap out. But this match pretty much ended with, of course, uh, Yuji Nagata applying a Uranagi and onto Tsukamoto, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. But it was a pretty good match, not gonna lie. Now our next match is a battle royal. Now there's too many wrestlers I don't even know, but I do recognize one of them. One of them is Kikutaro. If you guys ever seen him, he's that one wrestler that wears that one mask. But one thing that was interesting is this wrestler who was making more wins on the battle royale, get rid of everybody, and his name was Bomber uh, Tatsuya. So basically, he was racking up the wins during the battle royale, and eventually, he's the one who ended up winning the battle royale itself. So it's amazing that he was making all these wins, limiting people, and winning the entire tournament and battle royale actually. But yes, so he picked up the win. Now our next match, we have a very interesting matchup. We have Stardom versus the Yoshi Girls from GTO. Let's see who shows up in Stardom. We have, of course, Rana Yagami teaming up with the members of Cosmic Angels, more specifically Sayaka Kurara and, of course, Saori Anu from the Cosmic Angels. They face, what's her name? Big Aruka, Hakane Fujita, and, of course, Rhythm. So, yeah, so basically, these are the Yoshi girls that mostly appear. Well, Rhythm is actually from GTO. Akane Fujita, she's a freelancer. I don't know about Big Akura, but yes, it's a very interesting matchup. But I wasn't too concerned too much. I mean, they're amazing wrestlers, but I figured that this match was definitely going to fall into the girls from Stardom. But it was, of course, Sayori Anu who picked up the win when she applied the pottering onto Big Aruka, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Next up, this is a very interesting matchup. This is for the GTO Girls Championship. We have the Inaba sister facing off each other. We have, of course, Tomoka Inaba, who is the older sister out of the two, facing off her sister, Azusa Inaba, who is the current champion. Now, what makes this match emotional? Now, if you guys ever seen matches like, of course, the Hanan sisters, more specifically Hanan, Rina, Hina, we have always seen how Rina has always been feeling like getting sick and tired of Hanan being the top girl, and now she wants to overthrow her. Not to mention, she did broke her record, and now you see the same almost a similarity with, of course, the Inaba sisters. Of course, I mean Tomoka Inaba is one of the top Yoshi girl in the promotion. That's always been one of the things that have been clear for those who haven't followed. Azusa Inaba is like trying to catch up to her, and of course, not to mention she's been making appearances just like her sister in Stardom. But what makes this match great is that no matter what, one of them had to pick up the win. I mean, they do a move they think it would be enough to take them out, but it was Azusa Inaba with a Kamigoye that took many times over to take her own sister out, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, Azusa Inaba surpassed her sister. However, during the post-match promo, she wasn't done yet. She may have defeated her sister, but there is one thing that now she has to get, and that is her sister's title, which is the Queen of GTO, which is another championship, which is the top title of the promotion itself. So basically, she feels now that she has the upper hand, she'll take that belt from her. So I'm sure Tomoka Inaba is going to teach her a lesson no matter what. I can't wait to hear from it. I don't know if I'll be able to see it, but it's going to be interesting. Now, our next match, we have GTO's Yoshi Girl herself, Aoi. She's facing against a ex-opponent. Nobody knows who the opponent is. Well, it turned out, looks like the Taka Michinoku and Taichi had called in a favor from someone from their Suzuki-gun days, and that is, of course, El Desperado. I was like, holy cow. I don't know exactly how Aoi is going to survive this one. I mean, Desperado, he is no joke. He's one of the best junior heavyweight competitors in all of Japanese wrestling. But, man, Aoi took everything. I mean, she fought back, But unfortunately, she did not pick up the win. She ended up losing to him when, of course, El Desperado applied the Pinche Loco, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Now, our next two matches are important, but however, someone decided to make an appearance in the commentary desk. Many of you may know him, and of course, Eddie Kingston often talk about how he idolized him. Not to mention, he met him during his first G1 Climax tour. We're talking about Toshiaki Kawada. Now, for those who don't know who he is, Kawada was considered, of course, a long-time rival to the late Misawa. Many of you may not know there's been plenty matches that they showed. Even Eddie Kingston talks about Kawada many times over. He has learned every move, every match. Not to mention, when Eddie Kingston met him, he was so happy, like a kid on Christmas, getting to know Kawada. And of course, it's a special moment because Kawada had to be involved in watching the next two matches. So that was the reason he showed up. For those who are not familiarized with Kawada, the reason why he was out. Now, this next match is a tag team match. We have Taichi teaming up with Tomohiro Ishii to take on, of course, a former teammate of Taichi during their Suzuki-gun games, and former Trekker, Zack Sabre Jr., and he teams up, of course, with All Japan pillar Jun Akiyama. And of course, Kawada knows him pretty well. That's why he was there. But man, that match was awesome. I mean, you probably wouldn't imagine. I mean, Taichi and Zack Sabre Jr., they were very tight as tag team. Not to mention former tag partners. And of course, Zack Sabre Jr. often talk about Taichi, saying that one day he would love to see him win an IWGP championship. And of course, this is one of those moments where, of course, they have to let everything out, and that's exactly what happened. But unfortunately, this match did not do any favors for neither side because it ended in a time limit draw after 30 minutes, and just like that, it was over. But it was great to watch this match. Now, this next one, of course, we have Taka Michinoku. Well, he was, of course, because this is his show, he put himself in the main event. But it was not just any main event. He faces against the ace, Hiroshi Tanahashi. So just like that, it made perfect sense. Because Tanahashi, everybody knows who he is. Everybody knows he's the ace. He's also on the verge of retiring, starting in Wrestle Kingdom of 2026, and that's probably the main reason. Now, I was aware that Taka approached him about, of course, participating in the show, and of course, Tanahashi accepted the invitation. And man, this match was pretty good. I mean, I was a bit concerned for Tanahashi, as you all know. Tanahashi can't wrestle like he used to, but he is doing his best, like his body's tearing. But he was able to pick up the win when he applied the high-fi flow, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. However, during the post-match promo, Tanahashi was talking to Taka until Yuya Uemura showed up. So it looks like, as you know, there's going to be a match between those two. I just don't know when that will happen, but we'll stay tuned. But however, the show didn't close just like that. It closed, of course, when we saw what's left of just four guys, Taka Michinoku, Taichi, and Yuya Uemura. However, they were accompanied by Doiki. Many of you did not know he recently had to he was out due to an injury. It seems like he showed up. There was still no clear indication when he'll be back, but it was great to see Doiki participating. It was great to hear that he's doing great. So hopefully we get to see him down the road. But for now, of course, we'll leave things as it is with this show. You should check it out if you guys don't have, of course, New Japan on demand. I think you may have to pay a little extra if you want to watch it, but you can find these in any streaming locations if it's possible. But yes, it was a pretty good show, so check it out. So as of right now, we are done with TakaTaichiMania. Let's move on with WWE Evolve. Okay, WWE Evolve. Now, I did mention at the start of this video, of course, of the episode, about Stevie Turner having a special announcement. Well, that special announcement was the unveiling of Evolve's Women's Championship. Now, it's probably was in the works for quite some time. Now, for the reason she introduced this belt is because she said that there's going to be a fatal four-way to indicate who will be involved, of course, to participate, and three names were mentioned: Kaylee Armstrong, Kendall Gray, and Wendy Chu. Now, the only reason these names were mentioned is because Stevie Turner are asking them, come and approach me, plead your case. So there's an open spot already. So basically, she's telling them, do the same thing. So I'm sure there's those that may want to step up, others that don't, but we'll see. But she did unveil, of course, the men's Evolution Championship as well. And there's also going to be in 4 weeks another Fatal 4-Way match. But this one only features, of course, Sean Legacy. So there's going to be three others. They may have to step up or plead their cases. But all hell broke loose. I mean, Keanu Carver was in the ring. So was, of course, Lewis. Then they were attacked by Gallus. As you know, they were humiliated by them. And then, of course, the women's division were really going out of their nuts. But there was a moment where it seems like Kendall Gray might have hurt herself. But we'll keep tabs on that one. Now, of course, Stevie Turner was talking to Nikita Lyons and all that stuff. You know, her making her presence known. It's no secret because I did reported that she was making her way to Evolve. However, while this meeting was happening, Zeta Steel, as you know, feels that she should be in the Fatal 4-Way. But of course, Stevie said you haven't earned anything to be part of it. Basically, she's saying you haven't earned your spot. You have to earn it. But Zeta Steel feels, hell no, bitch, I should be in it. But of course, Nikita Lyons, being who she is, was telling her that she deserved it more. But we don't know yet who's going to take the next spot. So we'll see. Now our next match, well, this one was a very interesting. Earlier, this person named Summer Sorrell did an interview with Chewy Martinez, talking about, of course, her debut match. But unfortunately, she has to face against Wendy Chu, and of course, the match itself, you probably would think there was no way she stood a chance against Wendy Chu. And that's exactly what happened because Wendy Chu, in fact, choked her out. And just like that, it was over. But however, Wendy Chu, as you probably can guess, was not done with Summer. She decided to humiliate her even further. But luckily, Kylie Ray, who still has some unfinished business with Wendy Chu, showed up. Not being all happy and smiley, I'm sure she wants revenge for destroying her son's teddy bear. So we'll see how things will go up. Now, all of a sudden, we saw a sick ass car approaching. It turned out to be Lexus King. So we don't know what was her purpose. So he made his way to the ring, did a promo, talk about Evolve and all this until Sean Legacy showed up. So you probably can guess, saying that we are the ones who are busting our balls in this brand and all that sort of thing. So seems that there's going to be a little collaboration between a bit of a match between those two. But later on, we did see Lexus King talk to Vanity Project. If you guys who know who they are, it's that group that now claims that they are taking full control of Evolve. Brad Taylor, Ricky Smokes, Jackson Drake, and of course Brian. What's his name? Bryce Donovan, and of course Zeta Steel. So it seems like they're going to be, I think it looks like Vanity Project are trying to recruit numbers in order to prove their point that they are the ones who are running the entire show. Now, Kendall Gray, as you know, there was updates. They're not too sure. I mean, she seems like she was hurt. Even Carly Bright, who's concerned over her well-being, was telling her that if she want her to be by her side during her match against Nikita Lyons, but Kendall Gray said no. So pretty much that's what happened. Now, as you know, there's been issues between both Keanu Carver and Harlem Lewis. I mean, those two have been going back and forth, trying to act like who's the top dog. But however, Stevie Turner tried to reason with them, but unfortunately, that reasoning came into a close when Gallus showed up. As you know, they still had some unfinished business with both men, so it all led into that. Now, our next match, we have Jackson Drake taking on Draco Knox. As you know, Knox has been dealing with the crap from Vanity Project since the early start of Evolve. However, Bryce Donovan, Jackson Drake took him out by applying a knee strike, and just like that, it was over. So Vanity Project are making their claims that they're the ones who are running this show. Now, Julie Martinez conducted another interview with Javier Bernal, trying to talk about, of course, what's the next step. Now, for those who don't know, Javier Bernal was amongst the wrestlers that were recently released. This show was, in fact, pre-taped, so basically, we don't have to work too much about that. However, the more he was trying to put positive impact on his career, its gal decided to show up saying no one cares about Javier Bernal, period. So, of course, those two will tangle next week. Now, our next match, we have, of course, Nikita Lyons taking on Kendall Gray. Well, Kendall Gray, of course, for those who were concerned about her knee, it seems like she couldn't perform well. But Nikita Lyons was able to, of course, apply the Nikita Splash and picked up the win. However, in the post match, Car- um, Kaylee Armstrong showed up and tried to take out Kendall Gray, taking out the competition. Basically, she feels that the title should definitely go to her, but I highly doubt that I'm sure Stevie Turner may have to consider the well-being of Kendall Gray and all this and that. But we'll see what happens next week, so we'll pay attention closely. But as of right now, we are done with WWE Evolve. Let's move on with, of course, AEW Dynamite. Okay, AEW Dynamite. Well, it opened up, of course, with Hangman Page doing a promo. Of course, he was talking about the last 2 years of his life, his rivalry and feud with Swerve Strickland. But he often talked now saying that he was willing to put that behind him and focus what's ahead of him, and which is, of course, the AEW World Championship, which is something that's always been on his mind since losing it. However, of course, Will Ospreay made his presence known, talked about how much he, of course, watched him grow. Not to mention, he said that one of the best moments that people remember him is when he helped out, of course, the Dark Order, elevated them. But of course, things fell apart for Hangman Page become after losing the belt. However, Will Ospreay saying that he looks at him that he is in fact in his way to become the AEW World Champion. So that kind of sets it up. However, of course, that snake of the grass, Don Callis, once again decides to prove his point about who Will Ospreay is. But of course, things become escalate because Don Callis wants to put both Will and Hangman in a tag team match against guys from the Don Callis family. So that exactly what happened. While all this mess was happening around, of course, we jump into where the commentary booth with Taz, Excalibur, and Tony Schiavone until Stokely Hathaway and FTR got in his face. But that stupid, bald headed dork, of course, Stokely Hathaway decided to get in the face of Tony Schiavone, and Tony Schiavone wanted to give a piece of his mind until FTR told him to sit down. However, it seems that FTR has some unfinished business with Daniel Garcia. So that's exactly what we're going at with it, of course. Now, as you know, there seems like there's a pretty good, interesting alliance between Anna Jay and, of course, Harley Cameron. It seems that their goal is the same person, Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford, who's been nothing but problems. If those who don't know, Anna Jay was one of Penelope's latest targets, who, of course, welcomed her back as, like, welcome back, bitch, that sort of thing. But she says she'll have her back no matter what. Now, Anna Jay, as you know, participated in the Eliminator match for the AEW Women's Championship. So it's in a four-way in a no disqualification match. Tony Storm versus Thunder Rosa versus Penelope Ford versus Anna Jay. Now, it seems things were going normal for quite some time in this match until Megan Bayne showed up, tried to take out everyone. However, Harley Cameron, true to her word, showed up and, of course, used a lead pipe onto Megan Bayne to take her out of the picture. However, this match ended with, of course, with Tony Storm applying the TSM chicken wing onto Penelope Ford, and just like that, she tapped out. Tony Storm is still alive from there. Now, the crew, Leo Rush, and of course, what's his name? Action Andretti made their presence known because apparently something was happening. Hurt Syndicate comes out and talk about, okay, who's going to be the next challenger. So basically, they want to see who steps up, and the team that stepped up was Top Flight, Dante and Darius Martin. Now, they said that they're willing to step up, not because they want this opportunity, because they're self-aware that they are not in the right state at the moment because of their issues towards the crew. But they said that even though they know they have been that they're out and out of how to say that all bets are not on them, that they're willing to go no matter what, because they say as guys like them, they get knocked down and they get back up because they felt no matter how much they hurt they get, they always back up. And of course, it seems that satisfied MVP saying, okay, I see your point. I mean, you do like you enjoying getting hurt, but you get getting back up. However, while they were pleading their case to the Hurt Syndicate, MJF showed up and attacked both Top Flight. I mean, basically the idea of Hurt Syndicate as their motto is you have to hurt people. So it seems like MJF is now wants to adapt into that, of course, concept. So we'll see how that rolls up because that's going to be interesting to watch. But of course, we did hear later on with Alicia Atout interviewing Hart Syndicate about redoing the vote. However, due to legal counsel, they were not allowed to talk about it. Now, of course, we did see a little video promo with the Elite talking about their upcoming matches. The Bucks will team up with Ricochet to take on Speedball Mike Bailey, Kevin Knight, and of course Swerve. While of course Kazuchika Okada will deal with what's his name? I forgot who he's facing. Kevin Knight. Yeah, yeah. So, but however, while of course the Bucks were making their way to the room, guess who was waiting on the other side? Well, the Death Riders. Now we don't know what's the extent. There are those that believe that there's been a conspiracy about them being involved with the Death Riders. Who knows? Our next match, we have, of course, the ROH World Television title on the line. Nick Wayne defends his championship against someone, of course, from Christian Cage's past and someone he knows too well, and that is, of course, Rhino. If you guys didn't know, AEW Dynamite were in Detroit, which is the hometown of Rhino himself. And of course, you would think there's going to be interference coming from Christian to get involved in some capacity. Well, he did, but it was, of course, Nick Wayne who picked up the win with the kill switch and all this and picked up the win. However, in the post match, well, it seems Christian Cage is giving a little tough love to Nick Wayne no matter what. It's like now it's like could Nick Wayne break away from Christian? We don't know. That seems like people are considering that could happen. Now, we did see a video promo with Roosh talking about Kevin Knight. Well, it seems that he's pissed that Kevin Knight screwed him out of the $100,000, that sort of thing. So he told him to watch his back. Now, our next match, we have Mark Briscoe, Mike Bailey, and Swerve taking on Ricochet and the Bucks. I have to say, this match was unbelievably good. I mean, there were too many spots on this match. High flying. I mean, you can keep up where they were going. But however, how did this one end was something, of course, you don't expect because, of course, it's a very old school move, which is the inside cradle. Matt Jackson applied that onto, of course, Swerve, and all of a sudden just lost. Now, Swerve, as you know, has some unfinished business with the Bucks, so we'll see how that rolls up from there. Now, Will Ospreay, as you know, had an interview with Renee Paquette talking about his match against teaming up with Hangman. He knows that things could not go wrong until he was interrupted by MJF. It seems that MJF is hoping now that Will Ospreay, of course, will win the entire Owen Hart Cup, go to All In. Now, of course, the only reason he's saying that is because, of course, he wants to take a shot at him once he wins the belt. So I think that is the real thing. Now, Renee Paquette conducts an interview with, of course, Jamie Hayter, talking about, of course, the Owen Hart tournament, Mercedes Moné, and all this other stuff. So basically, of course, but however, Mercedes Moné attacked her, and of course, this thing went all the way to the front stage of the ring. But of course, Mercedes put Jamie Hayter in a crossface, bending her back. However, there's still people saying how has her back been doing since she returned. Well, seems like maybe Mercedes Moné could try to take that out. So we'll see where that goes from there. Now, Alicia Toot was doing an interview with Willow Nightingale about, of course, her recent feud, her appearances in Japan, and of course, her feud with Marina Shafir. But however, Chris Statlander, as you know, has been trying to make amends with Willow. Well, it seems Willow had enough with her, so apparently there's going to be a match between them soon. So we'll get to that. Our next match is an Eliminator match for the AEW Continental Championship Kakuchika Okada versus Kevin Knight. However, Kevin Knight was attacked by Rush from behind after, of course, what happened. And then, of course, you wouldn't anticipate. So, of course, Okada was going to take advantage of this. But Kevin Knight stood firm no matter what, how much hurt he was. He continued. But unfortunately, he ended up in the Rainmaker. And just like that, it was over. So, practically, that's how it ended. So, we'll see. Now, Don Callis heard about what the Outrunners said after they were attacked by, of course, Roppongi Vice, Trent Beretta, and Rocky. So they're saying that they better pick up two partners, you know, and all this other stuff. We'll see who will team up with them. Now, our main event is Claudio Castagnoli versus Samoa Joe. Well, you probably wouldn't guess. This is one of those matches where Claudio's barking orders was to take out Joe by orders of Jon Moxley. However, you would think this is one of those matches where Joe will try to, he knows that Jon Moxley will do whatever it takes to take him out. Well, it backfired him because, of course, Samoa Joe was able to win against Claudio and use a chokehold on him and just took him out. However, of course, Death Riders were going to show up, but luckily Powerhouse Hobbs showed up as backup. But, of course, Samoa Joe took out Claudio in the same manner they did with Hook and Shibata. So, we'll see how things will roll up. So, I'm sure Jon Moxley should be worried that things are not going according to plan for him. So, that he may have to worry about that. So, we'll see how things roll up from there. So, as of right now, let's end things here and move on to our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So let's begin, as always, with upcoming events. As you probably know, we have two upcoming events from GCW. As you know, there will be in Rochester, New York, which is Brody Lee country, on the 18th of May for Run For It. Mega Bane will be in action to take on Richard Holiday. And then, of course, as you know, we have the annual Tournament of Survival 10. They'll take place on June 7th in Atlantic City. They announced the 8th entrant, and that is, of course, Otis Coker. For those who don't know who he is, Otis Coker is the brother of the Silver-Tooth Satan, Atticus Coker. So, yeah, so he'll be participating. Now, Jersey Championship Wrestling has announced a match, or should I say championship match, at their Mayflower event on the 11th of May, which will be coming up soon. The WXW Unified World Championship will be defended. Their champion, of course, is someone who's been well known through GCW for years, one called Manders. He'll defend his championship against Filthy Tom Lawler. So that's going to be a good match to watch. Now, Japanese promotion known as Best Body Japan Pro Wrestling has announced for an upcoming event on the 30th of May at the Tokyo Square in Atabashi. It turns out that the current tag team champions, the BBW Women's Tag Team Champions, Arina Yamaoka and Yoshiko Hasegawa, will defend their championships against the ladies from Choco Pro, Sayaka Obihiro, or should I just call her Obi, and of course Chiko Shikawa. Now, this is a very interesting matchup because for those who don't know, real soon Hasegawa will be retiring, so we'll be paying attention to that very closely. And then finally, for those who know this, another interesting match has been added for the 10th anniversary show by Saori Anu and Natsupoi. There's going to be a Royal Rumble taking place in the event. Basically, there's a video where they visited several people to invite. Now, let me pull up the names right here. I have it saved up for all of you. Here it is. So we have, of course, Sonaka Kato, Shin Sakura Iroda, Akino, QC Ninja Ranamu, Ryo Mizunami, Hiroyu Matsumoto, Kakeru Sekiguchi, Rina Amikura, Yuko Sakurai, and Zu Suzuki. So yes, so you may recognize some names. I mean, you got the ladies from Colors, Yuko Sakurai and Rina Amikura. As you know, their de facto leader Saki will be participating in a match over there, but these two will be part of the Rumble. Of course, Zuzu, as you know, she has some close ties with Sayurani. It would make perfect sense. Hiroyu, Lady Destroyer. So I had to say, pretty good. I can't wait to see it. So yeah, now on for our developments, in case anybody wants to know. Tokyo Sports reports that there's going to be a dog collar match for the next upcoming event from New Japan. This one between David Finlay and Evil. As you know, this feud between the War Dogs and House of Torture continues on. So yeah, we got to stay tuned for that. Now, for those who know, Cora Jade has been recently been released from WWE. Now she's going out hinting that she might want to go to AEW. Now, I think I know some of you would say, "Hell no, dude! She should go to TNA." I don't know if that's. Here's the thing: someone predicted that she's going to go to TNA, but now this information is coming out that she wants is hinting. We don't know yet. I mean, we don't know where she's going to go. Does she has any interest in going to AW or TNA? But one thing is kind of interesting. If she gets to go to AEW, she's going to run into her ex-boyfriend. For those who don't know, prior before going to WWE, she was in a relationship, and you guys don't want to know who it was. Blake Christian. So I don't know if that's something she would want to do, to be near the guy. There was still no explanation why they broke up. We know that they broke up right after, of course, when Blake Christian was let go by WWE when he was in their program along a while back. So yeah. Now there was some interesting main event match that's been announced by 01. No dates and information has been announced, but this one is a match that's going to feature called the Plasma Explosive Death Match. Unagi Sayaka will be facing against Risa Sera. For those who do know, Risa Sera will be retiring just like Tanahashi in the start of 2026. So it would make sense why Unagi wants to do this, but can't wait to see it. So it's going to be real fun. So I think that's pretty much it what we have for everything with our reviews and updates. Let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as you know, Thursday is going to be coming up next. We have Ring of Honor and, of course, TNA. However, apparently there's going to be AEW Collision as well. So I'm going to focus on those three only. So that's the idea. Ring of Honor, TNA, AEW Collision. So practically that's pretty much it. If there's any updates, new updates that I want to put out, I'll put those either by itself or on the next episode. So we'll see how things will roll up. But stay tuned. There will be a special announcement to all of you. This one regards for this coming weekend, and I think this one you definitely want to pay attention. But also from other plans that I've been doing, I will announce those as well. But until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye, and have a nice day. Bang.